What do you got?
I got news. We're going to talk about news.
Oh, yeah?
today. Yeah, like actual automotive news. I prepared. Yeah. So,
I haven't
all
heard
right.
anything.
Oh, hello and welcome to episode. I should have waited for this to load. Nope, no freezing. I think we're good. Hello and welcome to episode 364 of the Hooniverse podcast. What's going on, Ron?
Not much, man. I was just about to ask who you were.
I am Right Said Fred, and I am too sexy.
Too sexy for what? I hope you're not too sexy for your shirt.
No, this is a very...
Nobody else has to look at that button.
No, I'm definitely not. I'm not too sexy for anything. That's okay, though. I'm happy with who I am. So, I actually prepared tonight. I know, rare. But I did. I've got a few bullet points, some automotive news to cover, because there's been some good stuff in the news lately.
I've been completely out of touch. I have no idea what's going on. So I am, I'm
actually
ready to learn.
Yeah. All right. First up, you've heard of this one, though. Ford Ranger Raptor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know very little except for the live shocks and 400 horsepower. I don't know how we get there or what it costs, but I do know that.
Yep, 405 horse, twin turbo V6, 3 liter. So that's basically the Bronco Raptor motor, I think.
I thought that was a 3.5.
Did that get the 3.5? I don't fucking know. Maybe it's I don't know.
I just said I don't know, and then I'm going to come in here and correct you.
Right? No, I what's in the Bronco Raptor? I should know this. I mean, I've driven it. But I forget these things. I'm scrolling and I'm talking and I'm trying to fill the space as I'm looking up. It is the 3 liter. And it makes 418 in the Bronco.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm not crazy.
Anyway, in the Bronco.
In the Bronco Raptor, it makes 418, and the Ranger Raptor makes 405.
Yeah, got it.
Which is awesome. Yeah, like you said, Fox shocks, live valves, 2.5s, fronts get coilovers. Rears get remote reservoirs, front and rear lockers, which is fucking sweet. Asking price is $56K, which feels fair, and the dealers are going to fucking ruin it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. $100,000 truck already.
I've been hearing 10, which...
Shit.
That's, low, I guess, in this day and age of markups. It still sucks, because, at 66, you're almost to an unmarked up Raptor.
Right.
F-150 Raptor.
An actual Raptor.
No, because if without a markup of MSRP on a F-150 Raptor is 70.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought they'd crept up.
No, what is the base price Ford F-150 Raptor? It might even be under. Okay, so it's 78.
Yeah,
it starts at. Still. The whole point, there should be so much more price separation between these two. And 56, if you get it at MSRP, that feels appropriate for the truck, I think. Because I think the Ranger Raptor has the potential to be more fun than the V6 F-150 Raptor. Because it's not that far off power-wise. It probably weighs way less, smaller, more nimble. The Ranger size is pretty great. Raptor R is a different conversation.
Best thing for sale under $120,000. We've agreed.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I'm really excited for this truck. I just really hope the dealers don't fuck it up too bad. Ford has always said, we're going to do stuff to make sure people aren't marking it up. And I haven't seen evidence of them doing anything about that. So,
well, they could just follow their own model and release it at a, decent approachable price. And then just like the Raptor, just continue to ratchet it up until it's unaffordable.
Yeah. But it sucks because the truck is super exciting. And this is what happens. We get like with the GR Corolla, you get a car that enthusiasts are like, hell yeah, this is awesome. Wait, it cost me how much because of the dealer?
Right.
And then dealers are like, oh, I don't know why people hate car dealers so much. It's because of you.
We only got 4 cars to sell. Of course, we got to sell them for $50,000 over sticker each. We have to retire off of these.
Fucking, I just hate the whole model. So either way, Ranger Raptor though looks rad as fuck.
Yep.
Now, a different bit of news here. You remember that Hyundai N Vision concept?
Yeah, the one that looked like a '70s concept car. Like,
yeah,
it was Giugiaro designed. It was all fucking square and boxy. Yes. And it predated the DeLorean. Everybody wanted to compare it to DeLorean, but it actually the original concept predated the DeLorean.
Yeah. Giorgetto Giugiaro, or he designed the Hyundai Pony Coupe concept. Correct. Right. So rumor has come out that they're going to make this fucking thing.
Right.
Which is crazy.
It's insane. There's so many things that I don't see them being able to bring to market without watering them down, especially like the wheel covers, like the aero discs. But I don't see why that couldn't be a factory option. But I don't know, man. I think it's just radical, and I'd love to see it come through at just like 80% of what the concept was.
I don't think it would have the same powertrain the concept had, because the powertrain of the concept is 2 rear electric motors, a 62 kilowatt hour battery pack, and then a hydrogen range extender. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's certainly possible, but I would just assume whatever powertrain winds up in the Ioniq 5N is probably more realistic, which would still be awesome because that thing's supposed to make like 6 or close to 600 horsepower. Right.
Have they committed to it being fully EV or
which one? The N Vision 74?
Yeah.
No, no specs have come out on anything. It's still a rumor that they're even really announcing it, because there's a paper or a website in Korea called what is it called? Money Today or something like that, where they're saying that Hyundai has announced. They don't have sources. This is the problem.
Announce that they're going to announce.
Yeah. So on May 27th, they're saying on May 27th they're having an event called Pony Day, because this theoretically could be called a pony. Yeah. And they're saying on this day they're going to announce the production version of this vehicle. The concept makes 670 horsepower, is what they say, which is fucking insane.
Yeah. I think it'll be all right no matter what.
I could see a version of this down, with Kia EV6 GT, Hyundai Ioniq 5N, just pure electric, no hydrogen range extender, and then do it as like a flagship type sports car. It'd be incredible. That design is sick. Yeah,
I'm with it. Whatever iteration we get, whatever powertrain, I'm with it 100%. It's cool to see automakers doing cool shit that, is totally out of left field.
Yeah. I kind of want a car that has wheel covers. I wonder do you think this trend, because it's been a trend before, maybe more so in motorsport,
right?
And now it's road car. Do you think it's going to be one of those things that's like a blip and then people are over it, or do you think it's going to stick around for a bit?
I mean, speaking from the aftermarket standpoint, like Rotiform was the first to do the aero discs. Like, guys have been retrofitting like old school and rebuilding old school turbofans, like for BBS wheels and stuff, for more than a decade, and like use them in show cars and stuff, and even like RWB builds and other kind of more motorsport themed custom builds. But I don't know. I mean, it seems to continue to be popular, and we get a lot of requests like, can you make the aero disc fit this wheel? And we're working on some things, behind the scenes on like I said, on the aftermarket side. But like Lexus just 2 years ago, I think they built like not a concept, but a custom IS, and I don't know if it was the IS 500 or whatever. I would imagine it was, but it was like fully motorsport theme, had some crazy wrap livery, and then they had a set of Rotiform wheels, and they made like clear acrylic, I believe, turbofans, and they may have printed like Lexus logos on them or something, but like whoever the design house or whoever the team was at Lexus, or that they hired out to do that, like, we're so committed to it. They're just like, we want to show the wheel, but we love this aero disc like concept. So they made their own. They 3D printed them and made their own based on our drawings and our dimensions. So I don't know. I don't think when it reaches the hands of the OEs, it's doomed. But it's going to be cool, just like black wheels probably for a long time. I mean, truth be told, they're kind of a pain in the ass to offer from the factory, there's a lot of moving parts, and that you have to figure out a way to secure them, and to meet all the, like, I don't know, SAE and DOT and just different safety standards. Like, it's probably going to be more trouble than it's worth for them. But
right.
I don't know. I think we'll continue to see it at least in the aftermarket for a while.
I would love to have, like I said, I'd love to have a car with them. So I hope at some point I will have some project vehicle that it would make sense to have them on. It might have looked dope as hell to have them on the Jag. Who knows? But that's come and gone.
I don't know. I feel like that's just like a weird period. Like, actual BBS, like deep lit BBS with turbofans would have been fucking cool on there, because like they printed on. I mean, you could print on anything you want, but the old school BBS basically had like reliefs like cast into them so that they matched the wheel design behind it. They would just paint in the mesh like black and gold, and then I think later they went to a flat face, and then they print they would like do like a vinyl print of the wheel design, just so it's transferable and changeable. But that's something that people do with their rotiform aero discs, is they print and come up with different wheel designs to put on there.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. I always wondered. I don't know if I've talked about this on here, but what I've always wanted, and I'm going to have someday on my Mustang, is Tim Allen had a 1993 Celine Mustang that was like custom built with like T-Bird headlights. It was supercharged. It was like the ultimate
convertible.
No, it was a hatchback. It was white, and it had Celine stern, I think, or no, it had Speedline, the Celine Speedline 3-piece wheels, like their highest like option package. But then he was like, Indy cars back in the day, in that era, like in the early 90s, they had those aero covers. So they would just like have like 5 little slots or 5 little holes. They weren't turbofans. They didn't have vanes to catch, air to cool the brakes. That was the purpose of the turbofans. But these were just aero covers, and they fit flush to the wheel lip. And they just had holes, lightning holes, basically. Like, they weren't very, very well styled. They're typically just ovals or holes, like 5 or 6 or 7 holes in the face of the wheel.
And a little phone dial.
Yeah, exactly. And they were just flat with like this deep recessed hub area where they connected to the wheel somehow. And I've searched eBay high and low. I've talked to like all my friends that like have worked in Indy, and like, nobody knows what happened to all those. Like, you still see them on cars in museums and stuff, but like, it's the coolest looking thing to me. I have to have them on my Mustang one day. And there's a few guys that like will reverse engineer them and build them for me, but I just haven't gotten down to it yet. But I think those are cooler than turbofans personally. But, because you still have this wheel style behind that, like that's completely independent. And, you can just do some crazy stuff if, with modern technology with 3D printing and CNC machining and stuff. Like, I think you can come up with something really cool for that.
Nice. Back to the mid-sized truck segment. Toyota, there's more leaks. I think the news is supposed to drop in a little over a week on what the truck's all about. But so far they've shown it's going to have a manual option still, which is interesting. It's going to have a hybrid, which is kind of a game changer for that segment. And then they're going to do the Trail Hunter model, which looks really cool. But all of this is to come back around and say the mid-sized truck segment right now is on fucking fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there isn't a bad choice. I'm assuming the Tacoma is going to be good because it's the Tacoma and it has to be good. The new Ranger looks awesome. The Canyon and Colorado are great. That 2.7 liter has, great torque. And then even the Frontier, which everybody forgets about, has tons of power. Like, that engine is really good. And then you can, if you want, you can add the like the Ridgeline and the Santa Cruz in there. And because like, even though they might not be quite as capable, they're both still really nice trucks.
So you call them trucks?
Yeah, I still consider them truck. I mean, I've towed with the Ridgeline. I've done that shit. Santa Cruz is probably closer to not being a truck, but to me, it's got the bed, and maybe call it a Ute.
Sure.
Keep it Australian.
I think it's fair.
But it as far as like, it's the nicest one inside, the Santa Cruz, because it just has the nicest interior, even though the Canyon is pretty nice as well.
Yeah.
But the Tacoma is going to be a hot ticket when it comes out.
For sure.
And then the Ranger's going to be right there. So it's going to be fun to see TRD Pro versus Ranger Raptor versus Canyon in Colorado AT4X/ZR2. It's some good shit. You will have more wheels being sold for
sure.
those trucks, I'm sure.
For sure. It's like,
yeah,
it's funny because it's a market segment I don't pay that much attention to, but it's probably like our third highest selling kind of applications, mid-size trucks, like for sure full size, like 1,500 trucks, then probably Jeeps, and then mid-size trucks and SUVs.
Yeah.
And it's something I've never paid attention to personally. It's not something I've ever shopped for, so I've never really been like an expert on any of that stuff. Like I don't have the use case for it, but I see more and more of these trucks, like especially down in San Diego. Like I feel like everybody in San Diego has a Tacoma or a 4Runner.
Oh, 100%.
They're all like kitted out. They have fucking full overland status and every light bar known to man, and like all the shit hanging off the side. So, it's I'm trying to think like I don't know what to like associate it with. What previous like automotive trends? Like I think the overland deal is like closest to like vanning in the late 70s because like
yeah. That's
but it's not the same. It's not. I don't know. I hate to say as fun or as sleazy, but it's definitely not like cruise up to the bar and then like let's go out to my Tacoma.
No.
It's pit like you would in an old school boogie man. But it's like you take your lifestyle is your car. You take everything you need with you, so that whether you're bugging out or whether you're just leaving straight from the office on Friday to go like camping or whatever. Like it's like this is my lifestyle. This is what I do. This is who I am. And like it's just out
absolutely. Yeah, no, and it's fun, and the people who are into it are really into it. And, good for them. It's a high dollar segment right now. Overland Expo kicks off soon in Arizona. One of these years I'll go to it, but yeah, a lot of money being spent and made.
Have you never been to that?
I've never been to it. It's just hard for me to justify taking the time to go camp for a few days. Like I've had PR people like, "Oh, you're coming? We want to set up a meeting." I'm like, I'm not. I would like to, but I just don't have time to do it.
Is it a thing where you have to camp there? I don't know. I've never been either, but
no, it's like kind of like the whole. I'm sure not everybody does, but it's like part of the fun, Like if you go into like a whole thing about overlanding, everybody's fucking camping and cooking and drinking,
Sure.
Now, speaking of expensive and off-road, oddly enough, all of the results of the Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato drive have filtered out. And word on the street is that the car fucking rules. So
cool.
I talked to a trusted person in the industry who I trust their opinion. They said it was great because they hate supercars because it's all about posturing and look at me and posing up and doing this. And this was so much more fun because you could just drive it and you could have fun at lower speeds just because it has like a more of an all-terrain tire, softer suspension, and he loved it.
I think I know who you're talking about. And that doesn't really surprise me. I mean, anything that's made nowadays has to be a great product, I feel like, especially at, certain price points. But it seems like such a waste of resources for a company like Lamborghini. I mean, I guess they could borrow from Audi and like their rally heritage and their, engineering, but I just don't get it. Like, are they going to field a factory team in any sort of rally or off-road race series? Like, I just don't understand the business case. I mean, they'll sell the shit out of them, but I mean, like,
you can't buy one. They're already sold.
What does it do for their engineering and the direction of their, their products? I don't understand it, man. I don't like cars that try and perform like trucks. Like, especially when they're that expensive. Get fucking 4 trucks, get a couple Raptors, then get another Huracan or fucking a 911.
I personally love dual nature vehicles. So these things like the Dakar and the Sterrato, I prefer the looks of the Dakar because the Lamborghini is too much, like style wise.
That looks like a Liberty Walk car that's unfinished.
Yeah, I can see that. but everyone who's driven it said it was a blast. And the course that Lamborghini set up at Chuckwalla, because some people were like, "Oh, I thought we would do like an off-road course and then an on-road course." They
it's
combined
like a hybrid, like combination.
They did it like a rallycross course. They went track to dirt, back to track. Like it was like a rallycross course.
That's cool. But when am I ever going to use that? Like, when are they ever going to set the track up like that again, just for me and
I know.
for other people that have one of these?
See, I could make the argument, because if I had one of these cars, I would take them on trails and shit like that. However, I fully admit that 99.9% of the people who buy these aren't going to do shit with them.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Now, speaking of expensive cars, because I'm very good at segues, a certain Skyline, just sold at auction for $1.35 million.
Was it another 400R or what was it?
It was the Paul Walker owned and spec'd hero car from Fast and Furious.
Okay.
There were a bunch of cars in that movie, like a lot of converted GTTs and GTSs to look like this R34. This was the only one that survived, and he specifically requested it and had it spec'd with like this exhaust, these seats, blah, 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 blah. So it was his car.
What color was it? Was it blue?
Blue. Bayside blue, yeah. So it was like a record-breaking price for a Nissan. It was a record-breaking price for Skylines, like all this shit. And I think it's a wild, wild price. And, whatever your thoughts on Paul Walker related to his other things, I think the car is an important car for automotive culture. So I could see why someone with money would dole out this much money for like way more than any other Skyline. So, well, that minus that, what was that, R400 or whatever it is. But
I don't have much of an opinion on it. Like, I never understood, like, I get movie cars, but like, especially if it's the car, like, I understand like it has intrinsic value, but like, we've talked about this before, just like having like a 77 fucking black Trans Am, like, I wouldn't pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for one just because it was used in the movie or fucking Burt Reynolds signed the dash. Like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, if it doesn't do something better, like if it doesn't perform better and like I can't use it, like it's never going to have that, like I said, added value and intrinsic value to me. So, I mean, I get it. Like, I'm sure that person, it's probably not the first and only, collector car that they'll own. So,
for sure.
I don't think the price is that outrageous, but whatever. Like, that's something I wouldn't even click on that story if I saw it. Like, I just those cars aren't that special to me.
I think you have to treat it more like a cultural milestone because of what those films did,
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's worth it to somebody, but so I'm not going to like clown them, but I just, that wouldn't even be on my radar. Like, I wouldn't even consider it.
All right. Now switching to stuff that is on our radar, what's going on with your cars?
Nothing's happened, but it's about to. I finally got my tax refund. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Woo. So it's just time to get active and kind of carry out all the plans on everything that I've been impatiently waiting for and putting off for like the last few months. So yeah, man, the wheels should start turning here in the next few days on the Mustang. Getting that thing back on the road, getting the Lincoln into the garage so I can rip that out and start on that. Getting the K10 sold, like I've just kind of literally just like sat on my fingers and toes and done nothing since winter, really, or even last summer. So honestly, looking forward to just getting back in the turning wrenches and making shit happen and enjoying my shit. Like I realize I'm just like a lazy sack of shit and I haven't done anything for so long that.
Yeah, you're going to be complaining about the heat in that garage soon. So
I know, but whatever. I gotta suck it up.
That's good. I really need to see that Mustang running on the road again. Yeah.
We all do, man. Yeah. I think I'm going to change the starter and the battery in that. Like the Optima that's in it, like, just never holds a charge. And like, I've killed, like, had to warranty like 6 of those batteries, and I just don't trust them anymore. And I think once they've been depleted, they never recover their full cranking amps. It's my hypothesis, because like, I've always had hot start issues with those. So I'm going to replace the starter, even though the starter is relatively new. Like, it's only got a couple hundred miles on it. I replaced it in like 2016. I'm just going to replace the starter, replace the battery, see if I can get it started, because like, it just like clicks. It doesn't do anything now, even with like what I think is a fully charged battery. So that's going to be the first step. And if I can, just drive it, smog it, then, enjoy it for a minute, then I'll be happy to do that. But I still want to do the Ollie Terminator and like some other things, and, just kind of upgrade as I go. So fingers crossed that it's not too serious just to get it started, that it's maybe just the battery and the starter. But if not, then whatever. I've already got a plan for it. So we'll figure it out.
Nice. 6 Optimas, though, man. That sounds like something might be.
Well, they sat. They just sat. Like, the car didn't even have like a draw on it. Like, it sat with a charger. And then like, when I didn't like have the trickle charger on it, they just didn't
Did
last.
You have the trickle charger set to drain?
Yeah, pretty much.
That sucks. On my front, obviously I don't have any problems with the Jag. That's doing great. The Montero is just in a weird spot right now where I got to get some stuff fixed. I still haven't solved the check engine light, even though I fixed the wiring to and from the 2 sensors on the front of the engine. So that's annoying. This on-center steering feels looser than ever, so I want to get that fixed. Ever since I swapped in the heavier duty rear springs, the front suspension feels softer. Like, adjusting the rear clearly affected the front a bit, and I need to like retune the front suspension. I got to look more into that.
How do you do that?
But I mean, the shocks are good. They just need to be retuned or something. I want to wire up I have a list here. I want to wire up the aux beam panel. I got to change the front brakes. I got to look at the clutch slave. Which I want to do soon, because I'm going to drive it on a long ass road trip to Northern California at the end of the month. So I want to get that fucking sorted.
Well, let me know if you want to come by the speakeasy, or if you've got mechanics lined up.
I am talking to a guy who's going to look at it for me, so I just got to get it done. But that's where we're at on the car stuff. I'm jumping over, and I'm pulling up our questions for tonight, because we have a few Instagram questions, and let's see. All right. Tools of War asks if I'm switching to manual hubs, because he saw the picture I posted was of the auto hub of the Montero, and no, just one of the hub covers went missing on my truck, so I just had to replace that. So I'm fine with the auto hubs, even though I heard the manual hubs are better. Drawn Bradley asks, how was Asheville? Asheville's awesome. I need to spend more time there, and I need to ride mountain bikes there.
Did you ever catch up with my buddy Garrett? Did you guys happen to meet?
No, I think we might have briefly crossed paths when like our waves overlapped a little bit, but we were on different parts of the trip.
I told him if he saw you to come say what's up, but I didn't hear anything, so I figured probably not.
We talked really quickly on Instagram about how we run different waves. Mystic Negro asked, did Ron have to finish V School to get the co-hosting gig? I think that's related to a Blake wrong question, because Blake went to like Cadillac's V School. I think we used to do a lot of jokes about it. That's like a deep cut of the podcast. No, Ron didn't go to V School.
I just had to badger you for a few months.
No, not even. Madalena, Jeff, can we get a breakdown of each gen of Montero from Montero man like yourself? Yeah, sure. I won't go too deep into it, but obviously I'm partial to the first gens. I just like the boxier styling. Then the Gen 2, later on in the Gen 2, they have just a more powerful engine, a little bit nicer on the inside. Then Gen 2 and 0.5 was like a mid-cycle refresh with better looking fence.
Any idea of the year range here?
I know Gen 2.5 is like 98 to 2000. So that would mean Gen 2 is 92 to 97, 98. And first gen is like either 87 or 89 to 91, which mine's a 91.
Gotcha.
I don't really care for the third gens. I think there are some nicely built ones, but I think they start to lose some of the off-road capability unless you upgrade them, because it switched to a unibody in the third gen. I don't think you could get lockers anymore on the third gens, or it was like traction control based stuff. There was like a torsion diff instead of a locking diff. So the sweet spot is kind of Gen 2, Gen 2.5, but I am partial to Gen 1s just because I like the style. So, and if you're going to get a Gen 2, get a 2.5 because it has the better looking fenders. The blister fenders is what they're called.
Got it. I have a quick question while we're there. What are the benefits of lockers? Like I think you said the Ranger Raptor has lockers front and rear. Like, when is that only for low speed stuff, or when is that, desirable or necessary?
Lockers are in just the best way to get traction, because it's putting all the power down. It's forcing like the wheels to, like, your differential is locked. So like not one of the wheels isn't going to slip. Like the power is being sent to the fucking wheel. So the truck is crawling its way up the hill. If you have a rear locker, that's nice. Once you combine front and rear, when you're fully locked, it's like a jungle cat has all its claws into the ground, and it is fucking straining to get up that thing. I was on when I did that off-road thing in Arkansas in the Ozarks. We were in this really well-built 80 series Land Cruiser that just had all this work done. It had this monster JDM swapped turbo diesel engine, which had it sounded like a Peterbilt, had this great turbo whistle, had a serious Dobinson suspension system, 40-inch tires, all this crazy shit. It just had lockers done, air lockers, and we discovered that they weren't working, like they weren't locking up. So we had this super capable truck, and there were sections of the trail where like Tacomas and 4Runners that had lockers with stock ass engines could walk up it, and we had to winch up in spots because we couldn't get there without the locker, because it just couldn't get the grip on the technical parts of the terrain. So when you have lockers, I'm going to add lockers to my truck at some point. It's a game changer for off. If you want to get more serious about off-roads, lockers are just such a crazy upgrade. You can just start crawling over so much more aggressive shit.
So it's really just an advantage in low speeds, like crawling stuff. That's what I'm getting at. Like
mostly, however,
is there any?
If you do a locked rear, like you would never want a locked front for high speed stuff, but you can do a locked rear just to keep the power flowing in like sand dune type situations, and just it's like a fun, like a Baja mode in a Raptor back into 2-wheel drive sort of thing. But yeah, you can do it for higher speed stuff, but it's definitely extremely useful on the low speed stuff.
Yeah.
Dissonance Smithing says, what's your aspirational guitar song of the moment? Because it always changes. I'm just happy to play anything. I don't have I'm trying to learn some Pearl Jam, but I'm discovering that Pearl Jam is kind of harder than the basic rock and roll shit that I've been learning. But then I find a riff where I think it's going to be hard. And like today I learned there's that opening little riff to Layla by Eric Clapton. I was like, oh, that's not that hard at all. So it's been fun that like certain things are starting to click a little bit guitar wise. And then you get to a song, you're like, oh, let's try this. You're like, oh, this is fucking impossible. So when I come to the ones where I'm like, oh, this is impossible, I look forward to revisiting that song in a month, where after some more practice, I'm like, oh, it's not as impossible. So that's more of the challenge, nothing specific. Taylor 356 asks, can we get some 777 style merch?
That's funny and kind of on time. It's not something I've like seriously considered, but there are a few different designs that I have in my head, just like unique random shit that I'm, inspired by the cars and the cultures and lifestyles within like the automotive space that, I don't know, the fact that one person asked for it actually makes me think that I should do it. So, yeah. maybe be on the lookout. I can't make any promises of when, but like I said, I've got some ideas and I've got some people that are willing to help me make that happen. So yeah, maybe.
I was just thinking of a t-shirt design I wanted to do that was just like an inclusive thing where it like had a Hooniverse logo, like a small one, and then on the back it just says like cars are for everyone. Just like something just simple.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But
I don't know. We'll see. And then Josh, Mr. Steal Your Dog says, can we do a drunk podcast here and bring it way back? I mean, give the people what they want, I guess. Yeah, we'll see.
To answer you, and Josh, I forgot to book my tickets, but I promise I'll do it tomorrow.
You still have the flight info?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we can drink in the lounge together like gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Type R. Kelly, ever had any sketchy Craigslist or Facebook marketplace deals? I haven't. I don't know why I've been fortunate enough to not ever have those. I don't know why my camera's out of focus right now, but come on, fix yourself. There's my face. Come on. Okay, there we go. I haven't. I maybe I'm just not buying and selling enough shit, but no, it's always been fine. I mean, I've even had people come to the house for them, which you're not supposed to do, but whatever. No, I've never had an issue. You?
I've never been sketched out. I've had plenty of people flake and waste my time and like say they're on the way and like send an address, and it's just like, dude, like you begged for this. You named your price. I accepted. I told you to come pick it up today, cash only. Or I accepted whatever terms you had. Like if you were like, I've only got Zelle or PayPal, fine, come get it. Yeah. And then they just completely ghost. Like I got so frustrated with selling wheels in particular because people just don't give a shit about your time. But I had one dude that like did get sketched out by me, and I'm just like, dude, I can't make this any easier. Like, you know, like I sent this guy even videos of the wheels that he was buying that I was in. Like, and I'm like, you know, I send him like Hoonigan videos and other stuff, and I'm just like, these are the wheels. This is the car that those wheels came off of, and it's like me and Musto, and like, you know, it's like I'm showing you who I am, and like the guy owned a wheel company, and I know, like, I don't know him, but I know his company, and he knows my company, and like we have all the same customers and shit. And he was buying some wheels, and he came to pick them up at my house. And this is when I lived in the other place. So I lived on the second floor, and I had the wheels in my apartment. It was a pain in the ass to bring wheels up and down, like outside. Like I'm not going to sit on the curb and wait for you to show up and hope I don't get robbed. So I'm in downtown Long Beach. So what I did was I rolled the wheels into the elevator lobby and on my floor, and I went down and got him, and I was like, the wheels are right up here. And he was like, can you bring them down? And I was just like, what? I was like, the whole point in not bringing them down is I don't know what you're prepared to pay me today. I have no idea how much cash you have. Like, we didn't agree on a price. You wanted to check the wheels out first. I'm giving you that opportunity, but I'm not trying to slug these things all over, you know, Long Beach, you know, for you to say, oh no, there's one blemish there. No, I'm going to give you $500 when I'm asking $2,000. So I was like, listen, dude, like, I don't know what you want me to do. I'll go up and get one wheel and break it down, and you can look at them. Like, I mean, dude, this is like I just didn't know what to do. I was like, I felt like I felt so shitty that he didn't trust me. He thought I was going to like mug him or something. I'm just like, dude, we like have all the same friends in the industry. Like, we've been doing the same thing. We work in the same business. We've been doing this for 20 plus years. Like, I'm not here to rob you. Like, that would be one hell of a fucking ruse to send you all these videos and pictures and shit and swap all these stories. And now I'm going to rob you. Yeah.
Officers, this guy right here. I have 7 videos.
Yeah. It's like, what a weirdo.
We follow each other on LinkedIn. I know who it was. That's funny. The Lazy Dutchman. What's the best car for a wife that crashes into everything but has class? F my life. I already told you. It's a Volvo. Because
how many froze?
I found this stat amazing about the Volvo XC90. It's the only vehicle without a recorded fatality or something like that from a traffic accident. Like, wow. Isn't that crazy? Like, when you think that seems crazy to me.
Yeah. That's insane. Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no surprise that that's the vehicle, but that's insane that any vehicle has that perfect record.
Any vehicle. Right.
Definitely not a Tesla. Dying them shits all the time.
Definitely not I mean, most things that we like, to be honest, like Mustangs. I'm sure there's tons of them in Mustangs. People probably roll Monteros, like I'm sure. Yeah, trust us, guys. We know our cars aren't safe either. No, I say just get a Volvo. Buy a certified pre-owned Volvo.
Yeah.
And just be ready. Just have the warranty just in case that twin charged engine gives you shit, or if you don't get the twin charged, the little turbo engine. And otherwise, Volvo. But really, anything modern is going to be fine these days.
Yeah.
But
I was having this conversation the other day. Like, there's really no shitty cars anymore. Like, you cannot go into a dealer and buy an absolute fucking hunk of shit. Like, there's just nothing that's really that bad, just because of not only regulations and like added content and safety features and stuff, but just, to be competitive, like you've got to have a certain standard of build quality just to sell a new car these days. But also,
I mean, I just drove.
New cars are expensive as shit. So it's like, automakers figured out we're going to sell less cars per year. I heard like 2021 and 2022 were like, I don't know what the total sales figures were, but like manufacturers sold $2 million fewer cars in those years as compared to 2019. And
you can't really count those 2 years.
I know, but the price has gone up so considerably, not just with dealer markups, but MSRPs. Like, they're just like, fuck it, we'll sell less cars. We're fine with this model. We'll sell less cars. We'll just sell them to rich people, and we'll fucking sell them for, 25% more than what we were getting before. Like, yeah, I realize inflation is a factor, but, everything is not as expensive as it was 2 years ago. Like, they could have come down on pricing if they wanted to, but prices never come down. They go up and they never come down.
Yeah. We just had our first dip in the month-over-month annual transaction price, but it fell by like $15 or something, but it's still $48,000 or $49,000. It's still very high, which is just wild. It should be down into like the high 20s, low 30s.
That's wild. We'll never see it again.
No, it's crazy. But yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. That's funny. I wrote out this whole like nice outline for this episode, and I think we ended up keeping it like high and tight because this is a short episode.
Straight through it. 42 minutes.
I feel bad. Like, I'm like, oh, cool. I'm gonna get all this content. We're gonna do a nice episode. But it is funny. Before this, Ron and I are both talking about how we just feel old and tired today too. So that probably doesn't help.
I was gonna say I'm not like 100% spirits right now. So,
and
take what you get.
I'm mentally fucking over it because I just watched Game 6 of Celtics Sixers, and I can't believe they won. So yeah.
Oh man, I'm watching
more on that Game 7 later this weekend.
I have Western Conference semis on right now on 2 TVs, and
What's the score?
Oh, it's bad. It's a blowout. Denver's up like 25 points. They were just up 30, so it looks like Phoenix is going to be out of it, which is disappointing to me. I was hoping to see them and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, but whatever. I love playoff basketball. I don't really care. I don't really have a team, but it's always super fun this time of year. Like, seeing, like, I think it's the best like athletic competition, honestly, in professional sports, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I love playoff basketball.
Yeah. I can't watch a regular season game for shit. Like, I cannot.
Yeah. I can watch regular season, but I definitely pay much closer attention during the playoffs. But on the flip side, I don't pay as much attention during the hockey regular season, but hockey playoffs are fucking awesome. Except this year, they fucking sucked. For personal reasons.
Sorry,
but whatever. Going to see the Red Sox in a week, thinking about other sports. All right, that's it. On that sports related note. That's all I got for this week. Yeah, keep an eye out for 777 style merch. Apparently, keep an eye out for how long Aero covers are going to last, and keep an eye out to see if that N Vision actually happens.
Yeah,
that's all we got for this week. We'll see you next week.
Later.